see how easily you can plug your gas furnace into a generator today to keep your family warm and safe in a power outage. This is the fourth part out of 5 parts in learning how to keep your furnace running in a power outage. So in this part, we're going to identify the wires and moving them the way they need to be moved. We're going to remove a box from a tight confined space so you can work on it better. We're going to work on assembling that box. I'm going to work on wiring it together and mounting the box back onto the furnace. And we're going to have a quick intro for the next lesson, or the next segment out of, this is 4 out of 5. So you're almost there. Stick to it. Let's get started. Be careful of the sharp metal. Try not to cut yourself on the metal. Okay. All right. Now you can see I've got all 3 wires. Remember earlier I said that a lot of these will only have 3 wires in them, and that's what this has. This has the plain copper ground, like this one I have my hands on, the white, which is called neutral, and then this black one, which is really short. I don't know why it's so short, but it's supposed to be a little bit difficult, but we're going to overcome this and we'll get it done. And be careful, you know, and squeeze those wires together. I'm going to take this wire nut off, or not wire nut, but it's that nut for this top piece. So I'm going to slide it off these wires. Okay, and just set it aside with all my other stuff here on the floor. Now I can actually take this out of here. Again, remember I said the wires are stiff, so they don't want to cooperate. Okay, so there we are. There's the wires, the bundle of wires. It goes up. This is called a conduit. It goes up and back to the breaker box. Okay. In order to be able to work on this, I just really have a tight confined space here. So the next thing is to try to remove this box. There should be 2 screws on it that I need to remove. Looks like there's one on the bottom, like down there, and there's another one right over. Kind of hard to point to it, like right there. So I'm going to remove those screws, then this box should come off the side of the furnace, and that'll help me do the wiring a little easier with less struggle, because it's sideways and funky and stuff. So we'll get this done. In order to be able to work on this, I just really have a tight confined space here. So the next thing is to try to remove this box. There should be 2 screws on it that I need to remove. Looks like there's one on the bottom, like down there, and there's another one right over. Kind of hard to point to it, like right there. So I'm going to remove those screws, then this box should come off the side of the furnace, and that'll help me do the wiring a little easier with less struggle, because it's sideways and funky and stuff. So we'll get this done. Okay, so I got the box off the side of the furnace. This is where it was, is right here. So I took it off, and now I can actually work with these wires and get this back together and then back on the side of the furnace. So the first thing is to put these wires here back through this hole, and then tighten this piece onto here using this little nut. It's called a nut, and you put it on the inside. So it goes on the inside. You have to hold it with your hand. Sometimes it helps to hold it with maybe keep it from turning with a screwdriver or something like that, like a flat-bladed screwdriver. And that'll help hold this piece right here. Keep it attached to this metal box. Okay, here we go. So now I can actually see it and work with it a little bit better. Okay. Okay. So that's in there. You see that plastic piece that needs the nut on it right there. So I'm gonna take that nut and put it along these wires and up in there and get it tightened up by hand. Okay, I finally got this back on here. Remember this part, this threaded, got it pretty tight. But this part threads onto that part, and then this bottom part sticks through there, and it's got this metal nut that fastens this whole thing to the box. So got that on there, and so the next thing is to actually wire the outlet into this box. Okay, so here's the box. I got it all back together here. Remember, this threads into this lower piece, and then this sticks down, the gray sticks down into the hole, and this metal nut goes on it. Okay, and here's the outlet, and this bronze looking nut or screw, the black wire will go into this hole that's right here. Okay, there's the bronze screw, there's the hole right behind it on this. Okay, on the other side we have a white or silvery looking screw, and I'll put the white wire in one of these two holes here. Okay, and then this green screw I'll actually wrap, do like a J around this green screw and tighten it down onto the ground wire, which is this a wire that does not have any sheathing is what it's called, which is that white coating on the black coating. It's called sheathing. So it will not have, it doesn't have any sheathing on it. That's the ground wire that goes on this green screw. Okay, so I got the black wire out a little bit, so it's easier to put this on here. Again, this is the bronze colored screw and this hole back here. So basically we put this wire in the hole like this, and you kind of hold it like that. So there's all the sheathing. There's no copper that's exposed, no metal that's exposed, and I'll get my screwdriver and I'll tighten it up, and then that'll hold that in place, and I'll go and do the silver one. Okay, I'm getting ready to put this white wire in the hole for the silver screw. Okay, you'll notice there's a little bit of copper exposed on the black, but that's okay because it's going to be safely inside this box when we're done. So you loosen this screw up. You don't take it all the way out. You just loosen it so that you can fit the wire in that hole, one of those two holes there. Okay. Next thing you do is you actually trim this wire. Now, this is way too long. This is like way too long. So I'm going to get my these pliers, to cut that wire and then expose part of remove some of the sheathing from it. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'm going to cut it right about here. Get an idea of how much is needed. You just cut it, and then you find, there we are, find a spot on here that fits it pretty good. This one looks like it's a 12. I don't know if you can see the numbers on here. A 12. So I'll go back about an inch from the end, and then I'll squeeze it. And this is a two-handed operation. I don't know if I can do this and hold the phone at the same time, but we'll try. Success. You'll see I exposed some of that copper, removed the sheathing from it. So then what we'll do, sorry about that, clearing my voice here. We'll get the white and we'll cram it in this hole. Turn this so it will go in there. Again, this is kind of a
two-handed operation. I'm going to hold that outlet in this, but you get the idea. I'm going to push that right in that hole and then tighten that down. Okay, here we are. There it is. It's in the hole. And then you just tighten down the silver screw, and then that's secure. All right, our last step on wiring this outlet into the wires is to connect this ground wire to the ground screw, this green screw. Okay, so I'm going to trim this. This is way too long. Trim it, and then I'll make like a little bit of a J to wrap around it, and then I'll screw that tightly against it. Okay, so this is the copper wire I shortened out and made it into like a little J, and so I'm going to put it behind this green screw and pull on it, get it hooked behind it real good, and then tighten this screw up. Well, here we are. We've got all the wires attached to the outlet. Okay, I've got the white goes into the hole behind on the back side, right here on the back, and then I tighten this good and tight. I did the same thing with the black on the other side. It goes into the kind of copper colored screw, the hole behind it, and then lastly I did the ground wire, the plain copper wire with no sheathing on it. Did a little J hook around this and then tightened it, and then that's nice and tight. So the next step is to reattach the box back to the side of the furnace, and then we'll get this reattached inside to the box, and get the cover plate on it. Okay, finally got this mounted back to the side of the furnace. Next step is to get this back inside this box. So we got the screw that goes into this hole here on the top. Okay, there's one on the bottom that looks just like it that we didn't screw that into. So I will do that and show you what it looks like when I'm done. All right, here's the box, and I got these screws screwed in. Next thing is to put the cover plate on, and that's since this is a metal box, I think I'm going to use the metal cover plate. I did get a non-breakable nylon plate that matched this ivory color, but I also got a metal one, so I'm going to put the metal cover plate on this. Here's the metal cover plate, and earlier today, in the store, I made sure that it fit that round outlet. So I'll take it out of the package and I'll get it mounted. Okay, here's the cover plate, and it came with 2 screws also. So let's go ahead and get that put on here. So take this, and this is really kind of tight quarters in here, but we're able to work around that. So that rests on there really good. I'll go get the screw. We'll get that started with my fingers. Okay. And remember to tighten righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? So be careful not to. Again, this is a two-handed operation, so I'll just show you what it looks like when I'm done. The outlet, you'll notice it has a screw hole right here, like right above my finger. There's a little screw hole that plate screw hole lines up with on the top and down here on the bottom. So I'll get that mounted and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, here's the finished outlet box, and you'll see that we now have an outlet on there with the cover plate. We're ready to move on to the next part of the project, where we will go to the inside of the furnace and wire the cord that will plug into this outlet. And ultimately, when you have no power here, you can take that cord and plug it to an extension cord and run it from a generator. Hey, if you like what you've seen and it's brought value to you, please give generously to my Give, Send, Go link at the bottom of this page. Thank you very much.